Introduction to intercepts. By the end of this video, I hope that you will understand what an x and y intercept is, and you are able to find the x and y intercepts from looking at the equation of a function. So now let's go over the basic concept of what intercepts are. An intercept is a point that crosses the x or y axis. This is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis. Let's take this line over here. To find the intercepts, try to find the points that make contact with both of these axes. So when you look at it, the intercepts are this point and this point because those are the points that make contact with the x and y axes. So what are these points called? The point that crosses the x-axis is called the x-intercept. And the point that crosses the y-axis is called the y-intercept. So in summarization, the x-intercept is a point on the line that comes in contact with the x-axis, and the y-intercept is the point on the line that comes in contact with the y-axis. Okay, over here we have the line of the equation 3x plus 6. As you can see, it is a linear equation. So let's try to find the x and y intercepts of this line. Take a moment and pause this video and look at the graph and try to find the points that coincide with the x and y axis and try to point them out. Okay, so I hope you noticed that this point is the x-intercept because it coincides with the x-axis, and this point is a y-intercept because it coincides with the y-axis. Try to write out these as coordinates. You can see that this point on the x-axis is on the point -2, so the x value is -2, and what is y? It's 0, so it's -2, 0. And the y-intercept is the point 0, 6. So what is something you notice between these 2 points? The point of the x-intercept, x-int for short, is -2, 0. And the point of the y-intercept, y-int for short, is 0, 6. Now something we can infer from this is that on the x-intercept, y is 0, and on the y-intercept, x is 0. So that's something interesting. So something to infer from this is the x-intercept is the value of x when y is 0, and the y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0. Now let's take the same equation as before, y equals 3x plus 6, and let's try to find the intercepts of this equation. Remember what I said before. The x-intercept is the value of x when y is 0, and the y-intercept is the value of y when x is 0. So looking at this equation, how do we find the intercepts? Let's substitute the value of y in the equation for 0 and then solve for x. So you make it 0 is equal to 3x plus 6. If we substitute y for 0, then we'll find out what the value of x is, because the x-intercept is the value of x when y is 0. So let's solve this. Let's subtract each side by 6 to get -6 is equal to 3x. And let's divide each side by 3 to get x equals, and -6 divided by 3 is -2. So when y is 0, x is -2. So there you go, we found our x-intercepts. So now write this as a coordinate, -2, when x is -2, y is 0. Now let's try to find the y-intercept. You do the same thing, but in this case, you substitute x for 0 to find what the value of y is when x is 0. So you get y equals 3 times 0 plus 6. And y equals, so 3 times 0 is 0 plus 6, and 0 plus 6 is 6. So when x is 0, y is 6. And let's write this as a coordinate. So x is 0, and y is 6. So there you go. Just from looking at an equation, you were able to find out the x and y intercepts just with a couple of simple steps. Now it's your turn. Try to find the x and y intercept of the equation y equals negative 4x plus 8. Take a moment to pause this video and try to solve for the x and y intercepts. Okay, now that you're back, you should have gotten the x-intercept of 2, 0 and the y-intercept of 0, 8. Check your work and see what I did and compare it to what you did, and if you got it right, that's great. If you didn't, just try it again. Now, let's take the function y equals x. Take a moment to think of what the intercepts would be for this function. Remember what I said? The x-intercept is the value of x when y is 0. So if you plug in 0 for y, 0 equals x, you would get the x-intercept as 0, 0. And you do the same to find the y-intercept. You plug in 0 for x, so you get y equals 0. And the y-intercept would also be 0, 0. On the graph, this is how the function would look like. As you can see, this line is passing through the origin, or what is known as the point 0, 0. And as we figured out before, 0, 0 is the x and the y-intercept of the equation y equals x. This, the origin, is basically both the y and the x-intercept. Now, let's take a little bit of a different example. 2x plus 3y equals 6. You can most definitely find the x and y intercepts of this function by plugging in 0 for the value of x and y like we did before. But an easier and simpler way to find the x and y intercepts is to put this equation in the form x divided by a plus y divided by b is equal to 1. Now you might be wondering, how do we go from this form to this one? It's pretty simple. First, take your function 2x plus 3, y equals 6. Now, what is 6 divided by 6? It's 1, so divide each side by 6. Why do we divide it by 6? Well, when you divide 6 by 6, you get the value of 1. And remember, we want to get it in the form x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. So after dividing this by 6, you get 2x over 6 is 2x over 6 plus 3y over 6 is equal to 1. So now we're almost in the form x over a plus y over b is equal to 1. But let's simplify our fractions here. So we can simplify 2x over 6 to get x over 3 plus, and we could simplify 3y over 6 to get y over 2 is equal to 1. Now we have the function 2x plus 3y equals 6 in the form x over a plus y over b equals 1. X over 3 plus y over 2 equals 1. How do we find the x and y intercepts? A is the x-intercept and b is the y-intercept. Therefore, from our equation, we can see that 3 is the x-intercept and 2 is the y-intercept. Those are your two intercepts to the equation 2x plus 3y equals 6. Here is my checklist on how to find the x and y intercepts from looking at an equation. It's your turn now. Try these problems, and to help you with them, you can use the checklist that I shared with you. The answers to these problems will be in the description below. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and look out for more videos in the future. Bye!